Some figures, we debate whether or not we need an update. Today, Secret Wars Black Suit Spider-Man. Let's do it. So I've told this story in a couple of videos, but just in case this is the first one you've ever seen, and because that's the way this show really works, I'm going to tell it again. I'd gotten out of collecting. I'd gotten out of toys. I wasn't doing any of this stuff. Sometime around 2008, I seen a video. And that video very much was a guy who was buying some toys for his kid. And his video specifically, he was sitting in the car, he pulled out a couple of items and he's like, I got my kids this toy, this, and these Spider-Mans. And I got for me, and he pulls out a Spider-Man. He goes, this. That's right, I bought myself a Spider-Man. And then he basically just went on with, I'm a grown man, I can buy Spider-Man. And something about it, and at the time I was kind of dealing with some stuff, and I kind of, in all honesty, needed a pick-me-up. It felt like my life had kind of tumbled down a staircase. I specifically remember this. It was rough. It was just a very rough patch. And I didn't know 100% as to what to do. And I was fighting with myself as to what to do. And as I was figuring things out, and I was, of course, working somewhere at the time, I got off work, and something about that video had spoke to me. I can't say 100%. It just did. I went over to the Toys R Us, and I drove, and I kind of looked around and whatnot, and I just didn't want to go home. I remember that day I went to the Toys R Us, I went to the Best Buy, I went to a Target, and I kept looking around. And then I found a Spider-Man. And somehow, just like him, I got the saying, I'm a grown man. I could buy a Spider-Man. And who cares if I do? What does it mean to anybody else's life? So I bought it. I got a Target exclusive black suit Spider-Man. And I liked it for what it was worth. Then, a long while later, I updated that Spider-Man. I want to say I replaced it with a Build-A-Figure. Maybe he was a Sandman? I can't remember. And in all honesty, there wasn't much about it that was updated. Like, it very much just felt like the exact same Spider-Man. But then, some time passed, and we got to today. And Secret Wars released a black suit Spider-Man. And I said, what does it matter? I mean, how upgraded can it be? And would it matter at all? Well, I seen it in person. And I really got to looking at it. And something about it, I just couldn't pass it up. I don't know if it's the fact that the black suit Spider-Man is what got me back into Spider-Man. Got me back into adult toy collecting. I don't know if it's something else entirely. If it's just my favorite Spider-Man costume, which arguably it's not. It could be my second favorite costume. But that's up for debate as well. I don't know. I really don't. This is something that I almost didn't do. There was something about this kind of being the reason I got back into adult collecting. This kind of being what brought me back into toys. Kind of made me feel like it had a special place in the collection. And while I'm not going to get rid of him, I've also got to be honest. I've held on to him for a very long time, while better versions of him have very obviously come out. Way better versions of him. But I did not replace him because he was my first figure. He's really not. I still have a couple of figures from my childhood. But that didn't matter. That's not even the argument at hand. It's the idea that he was like that turning point, that I knew that I was buying this figure as an adult collector, that I was starting into something that would build this. And somehow, that earned him this special place in the collection where I didn't want to upgrade him. So oftentimes they'd come out with a black suit and I'd say, I don't need that. The one I've got is fine. Objectively, that's not true. And today, I am going to open this Secret Wars Spider-Man, and I'm going to see just how much of an upgrade it really is. Because I've made this argument many times. This thing that we do, where we constantly say, toys were better when I was a kid. No, they were not. And I've argued that for years myself. And yet, even still, sometimes, a figure will come out in a long-running line like Marvel Legends, and we will tell ourselves, this one is better. Like, there are still people that are gunning the idea that Pizza Spider-Man is still the best Spider-Man. These figures get better with almost every single release. It's inevitable. It's progress. Now, I'm not saying every single time they release a new Spider-Man, it's guaranteedly better than the old ones. But in the course of time, as the engineering increases and we see better concepts and whatnot, and the ball joints on the neck get better, and the head range gets better, and we get more hands, and we get better articulation and the butterfly shoulders and things like that, these figures absolutely blow out of the water the stuff that I grew up with. Like, they just do. From Playmates Ninja Turtles to these, I remember my first Spider-Man. He was one of the animated series toys. He had one arm that like shot a web that was like always like this, and it could only do like that. Yeah, that's the coolest toy. And it's true that my idea of toys has changed dramatically because I want them to be able to pose and move and look like really cool statues on the shelf. That's like what I want now. So maybe you could also argue that my idea of toys has changed dramatically. But I think we sometimes fool ourselves into believing that these updates are insignificant. So I'm going to see right now how significant or insignificant this upgrade really is. Let's do it. All right. Black Suit Spider-Mans, whatever. There they are. Simple look. This is the black suit I have. This is the one I'm replacing it with. And at first glance, the body is very different. The head is very different. This one is very skinny. Like, it's got a whole lot of muscles and everything like that. It's got the squares for his web shooters. It's got this hole in his back, which I've never really liked. I've always kind of hated the fact that he had that hole in his back. There's a whole lot of like super muscle here. His butt's fine, I guess. His legs are like super skinny, but like super ripped up, muscular like. This is this one. This is this Spider-Man. Gigantic eyes, which I do like the big eyes on Spider-Man. That's about as far as he can look up. No turn here. Only a turn here. Of course, the feet are, I mean, they are what they are. This is him. This is a very old black suit Spider-Man. My update, which I just picked up, is right here. This is the Secret Wars Spider-Man. Right off the bat, his body is different. I'd say he's using more of a, the first appearance body. At least I think so, anyways. I'm pretty sure he's using that first appearance body, right? The Amazing Fantasy body. I'm not going to guarantee that, but that's what this feels like. Decent amount of movement here. This is also something, this is definitely different. Check this out. Like, this is movement, okay? It's, see what I'm talking about? This is a very different kind of movement joint system in the upper torso than what we had. Because the upper torso just used to kind of snap into like areas. That's not a thing that we're dealing with anymore. It's a very different kind of situation. Also, the body here just used to do like woo with the slaps. See? Like, that's also not a thing the same way that it was. Now we've got this lower ab crunch that we can use so that we can get into certain kinds of poses and whatnot, and we can do all kinds of like swinging and stuff like that. He can look way down. The camera does not want to focus for whatever reason. How far up can he look? Oh, that's beautiful. He can look way up. That's absolutely fantastic, because that's going to be very important for like nailing certain poses and things like that that we want to do. That's fantastic. His arms, that's really good right there. I am curious. Do we have about the exact same thing going on back then? Oh man, a little rough, but you could get it. I don't think it's as good, in all honesty. He can look up pretty good, but like it's not the same thing. The butterflies are incredibly loose. I'm gonna chalk that up to being kind of old, but like his butterflies are not the same thing. They're not as flighty. And I don't know if that's just because he's so new, or if it really is that we've gotten so much better with this kind of stuff. The paint job is really good in terms of that as well. And I kind of like how the spider on the new one doesn't go all the way down. It goes down like right there, and then it kind of stops, and it has the little, you know what I'm talking about? The little split here, where his goes way down on the torso and has like the bigger split on the bottom. I like the legs more. Also, there's a turn here, which does not exist on this Spider-Man. There is the turn here. The double knees are the same. The feet haven't really changed all that much. I like the arms more. This is pinless as well. Just a little bitty detail that I almost overlook, in all honesty. But this is a very much having pins Spider-Man. This is not. I really like this head. I like that the eyes, the face sculpt has this little grimace right here. Then the eyes are a little closer together, And like the face sculpt with the nose that kind of comes out, that's good. That's really good, actually. I like that a lot. Like, I'm a big fan of that. Also, this is a minor thing. He came with another head for like really that menacing lower eyes type of thing, like when he gets angry and stuff like that. That's really cool. I like that. You could also kind of say that that's when like the Venom suit is kind of taking over, when the symbiote suit is taking over. Also, another thing, and I think I heard somebody complaining about this, the hands have triangles. That's actually comic accurate. Like, more comic accurate than this. See, the Black Suit Spider-Man from the original first appearance Secret Wars, he had the triangles, not the squares or the rectangles. So this is a minor nitpick, but I actually do like the fact that he has the triangles. I think that that really works for him. This is a solid Spider-Man. It's very, very, very good. And is it almost a shame to replace this one on the shelf? Well, I mean, he's been there for a long time. First off, let's be honest here. We're going to do like this. Spread the legs out. Bring him in. Bring him up. See if I can't create the same kind of pose. There. Now, I mean, really look at these two. This is up for debate as to which one you feel aesthetically is better. And one could argue, depending on the way you're looking at it, one could very well be better than the other. But like, on a personal level, I'm liking this one more. Like, this guy will always be important to me. But when I'm looking at these two Spider-Men, like, his foot is more flat. He has more stability. The body looks more correct. Oh, okay, let me get his arm here. We're going to get some bend in his arm. There we go. Like, I'm serious. I think I like this one more. There's a lot of little things that lead into that. From the way the muscles are, to the way he's pinless, to the face sculpt, the butterflies being the same kind of thing but less pronounced, the spider on the back not having that hole, where we had that hole in the back of everybody for a long time. I'm glad to have that gone. I'm glad to have the triangles on the hands. Like, this is... Look, guys. Update. Why do we update? There will always be figures that we like. Figures we love. Figures we have a nostalgia for. A connection that we just never outgrow. I have some original figures that are still sitting in my storage bin that I will probably never get rid of. They just mean something to me. But in a line that runs this long, variants are one thing. It's classic suit Spider-Man. There's 2099. There's Tobey Maguire. There's Andrew Garfield. There's Tom Holland. There's Superior Spider-Man. It goes on and on and on. Sometimes picking up a variant is just cool because it's different. But when these lines run for a long time and you wind up with the next classic Spider-Man, The Maximum Spider-Man. Everybody's talking about it right now. Whether they're talking about how much they hate it, how they're not going to pay the cost, how they can't wait to get their hands on this thing, how it's the best one ever. Everybody's got their opinion about it. And sometimes that opinion is, I've already got the best Spider-Man. Maybe you do. We don't know till we get our hands on it. But in a line like this that continually puts out and is run for so long, the next Wolverine always has the potential to be the best Wolverine. The best classic suit costume. The next Nightcrawler always has the possibility of being the best Nightcrawler. The next Gambit that we see always has a possibility of being the best Gambit. The next Fantastic Four figures have the possibility of being the best Fantastic Four figures. The thing is, we don't know till we get them. Sometimes we don't know till we get them in hand. The toy market, especially this kind of thing that we do, in this category, in like the $20 to $40 range of figures, they are always improving. That's one thing that's kind of exciting about being in this price bracket. Sure, high-end figures and whatnot are very cool. I'm not going to put anything off of that. A high-end figure is a high-end figure. But there's something about these mass productions where you can really see how far the engineering has taken us. How well the sculpts have improved or haven't improved. It's kind of exciting. It's exciting to see these things get better and better and find our favorite characters able to buy them again, which I'm sure everybody loves to just keep buying the same guy over and over and over again. But I mean, even taking it to the McFarlane stuff. I mean, they release Batman after Batman after Batman. But as his line gets better and better and better, it's very interesting to replace your old Superman or old Batman or old Cyborg and keep upgrading into other better same guys or variants to see what there is. Like, having him makes me feel like I kind of wish we got a brand new Venom. Not the video game Venom, a brand new comic book Venom. Pinless, new body, big but large buff, giant tongue, Todd McFarlane design, that creepy smiling head. I like this upgrade a lot. Like a lot. And it'll never change the fact that this guy put me back into adult collection. This figure started it. But we've done so much better since him. We really, really have. And if we're being honest with ourselves, it's noticeable. And I'm sure that's true for a lot of figures. I'm sure you have picked up figures where you say, this is it, man. This is the one. The Spider-Man, the Wolverine, the whatever. And down the road, they will surprise you. And then sometimes we have things like Ben Grimm, where they've released 3 or 4 different things now. They're all the exact same figure with different paint jobs. Maybe a different head each time. We need a new, modern articulation Ben Grimm. We need it. And not just a rehash of the body that we've gotten over and over and over again. I've got 2 of them on my shelves right now. The only difference is one is wearing shorts, one is wearing longer shorts that are black. The legs, the knees, the arms, they're all the exact same thing. Complete reuse. They changed the head. That's it. The portrait is different. That is the only thing that they changed. And then people said, oh, dude, you need to check out the Walgreens release. If you can get your hands on the Walgreens release. Well, I seen it. It's painted different. We need a new Ben Grimm. We need a new Ben Grimm. He's one of those guys that could deal with an update and not just a re-release of the same body, mildly different to fit into another team. Give us a brand new one. This is an argument for a lot of figures in the line. A lot of figures. Especially now that we got the Black Widow body and we got so much potential to kind of bring out a lot of the female characters and do them better. Because we've seen some back-to-back solid female characters now. Warbird, very, very good. Black Widow, very, very good. The Phoenix, Jean Grey, very, very good. If they keep this running and they keep the quality of the female body sculpts, we could see some unbelievable stuff coming. Power Princess was one that was really solid. It seems like we're making actual progress in that part of the line. And there are some parts, because, look, Marvel Legends is going to reuse, but every toy company does it. Sometimes the updates are significant. In this case, honestly, I feel like I waited long enough for the updates to be significant. What are you looking forward to? I'm interested. What do you think we need an absolute update? What do you think we need new sculpt? Like a figure that hasn't had a solid release or hasn't really changed in the last 3 or 4 releases, that we need something solid to take its place. I'm interested. I'm curious. Let me know later on.
I have spoken. Take what you will from it.